Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Happy Thursday. Happy Halloween Eve. How's it going? What are y'all doing? What do y'all have going on? I think there's a little bird over there. Oh, the little bird is Gypsy. Must have just snuck out after I exited the house. Anyway, drive-through Zoo. Do you like my shirt? Said, what is the drive-through Zoo, Michelle? I don't know. I didn't go, but I saw that I happened to have money, and I saw the shirt, and so I bought it. The 2X. Anyway, presented by Broadway Bank. I think they just had different cars and they drove through the zoo. Probably a fundraiser, right? I saw on the San Antonio Aquarium's Instagram that they have something like that planned for Halloween. Anyway, I don't have much political to say. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do a video in the middle of the week, and then I realized it's Thursday. So dang it, I should have done a video yesterday. But anyway, how y'all doing? Not much going on here. Happy Halloween. Just finished watching the morning news. And yeah, really not much political going on. I guess there's a couple of talking points that I guess I can go ahead and address. I noticed there seems to be a kind of a trend or kind of I don't know, I guess trend is the right word. There are some issues in politics today that I think I've seen watching the news. I watched CNN, Newsmax, MSNBC, Fox. I just kind of flipped through the channels. And and if you're into politics, by the way, I think it's a really not a bad idea as far as strategy, because you really get a lot of different angles for the arguments. But anyway, contrary to my point I'm trying to make right now, is there are several issues that I've seen that are both Democrat and Republican. Like they have the same outlook. There was China, and there was another one. There was two where I was like, oh, okay, that's Democrat and Republicans are basically on the same side, it seems like to me. But China is an adversary and threat. I didn't realize that Democrats were very defensive about China. That has the largest navy in the world, by the way. I learned that on the news today. But yeah, I don't know. I think I can't remember. Was it nuclear capabilities? I think it was the United States, and then Russia, and then China. I can't remember which one was first. First it was the United States with the most nuclear capabilities, and then it was either Russia or China, second or third. I forget. But I don't know. I don't know. And there was another topic where I was like, okay, so Democrats and Republicans both have the same kind of talking points. But anyway, I don't know, I've always been like, if there's like superpowers in the world, and I guess the top three maybe are the United States, Russia, and China, then wouldn't it be in everybody's best interest that they all got along? I'm just saying. That's how I'm kind of like, if I had to bring it down a notch, that's how I live my life here at 9107. It's in everybody's best interest if we just get along. Okay? So I don't know why that wouldn't just kind of expand. But anyway, there's another issue, and I'm kicking myself right now that I cannot think of it. I think these things in my head, and I should write them down as soon as I think about them, but I don't. I'll try to get better at that so I can remember these talking points. Because I think I'm a visual learner. Anyway. Yeah, the Asian trip looked really nice, and I was like, oh my god, I wish I was there. That all looks really nice and fancy and very worldly and cultural. Something that I personally, I could just say right now, would love to have been a part of. It looks really nice. What a great experience 47 had. Anyway, that aside, I guess that's as much as I'll say about that. During the government shutdown, oh, I saw a Cracker Barrel tweet that it was a reply tweet, and somebody posted, Cracker Barrel is going to be the new addition in the East Wing. And Cracker Barrel was like, you don't want us there. I thought it was funny. Anyway, happy Thursday. Oh, my other political talking points. I think maybe some people might be wondering my thoughts on this drugs. This specifically this targeting military targeted attacks on boats. Is it in international waters? I can't remember. Anyway, so if you're wondering my thoughts on that, I have to say, the arguments that I've seen have been, you can just kill people, are the arguments that I've seen against it. However, my thoughts on that is it was open borders, right? Open borders, I guess, without any government assistance on immigration law, lawyers, courts. I don't know. Congressional increase in visas, green cards. So anyway, it was 4 years of open borders, which, you know, take that for what you will. And then now it's, I think a lot of the times it's zero border crossings, right? Is what they say now. So as far as this being a continued problem, you know, I would say it kind of makes sense, right? If there's the borders are closed, there's zero illegal crossings on the border, but there might still be this issue and problem of, I guess, fentanyl and maybe other drugs. I don't know. Drug operations. then it makes sense that the next step is probably this military strikes on boats in the water. Is my thoughts on that, in case you're wondering. And I think it's interesting not more information is given other than the strikes, right? I heard something about a CIA operation in Venezuela, but a lot of stuff's going on in Venezuela. I always hear Venezuela this, Venezuela that. Okay, Venezuela. Anyway, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. You like my coffee cup? Guess where I got it? A beach in Texas. It's either Corpus Christi or Port Aransas. My mom got 4 cups, and this is one of them. I used to get coffee cups too, but they're all broke. 1 second. Perfect timing. My mom has to leave the house. She's got an appointment. Anyway, she has an appointment. Chase is gonna work, and I'm gonna drop her off. But Kimmy works late today, so I'm gonna go over to Kimmy's house again today and do some more research. Title 18, Crimes and Criminal Procedure. I'm on chapter 110 now. In case you want to keep up, in case you happen to know about it. I don't know. It's a bit tedious. I don't mind saying. But like I said, I'm a visual learner. I just kind of like to write things out, and then I have it on my little paper, and then so I could just read it, and it could be like I'm studying law. Anyway, so that's my plans today. Title 18, Crimes and Criminal Procedures / Epstein. But I really don't have any new information for you on that. So anyway. What else? I really wish I could remember that other political topic where I was like, oh, that's both Republican and Democrat. I'm not saying all Republicans do that, but it is, I just think it's interesting the stance that people take. Which, if you want to like talk about psychology, maybe, it's not such a bad thing, right? As far as, obviously we don't want any racism or anything like that, but I just think it's kind of interesting, this kind of competition. Which, I don't see a lot of here in this formerly known United States School Bus route. But yeah, as far as sociology and psychology, I just think it's kind of interesting. I don't think people are evil intended with evil intent when they say these things. I just think it's kind of interesting that it seems to be on both sides of the aisle. I personally, I saw on the news, it was like something about Europe, and Europe is pro-Ukraine. And when it's in sports, when you're talking about sports, nobody really cares. You say, well, this team is, obviously better than that team. You're not going to go for the underdog? No, I'm not. Anyway, I realize global powers in sports are drastically different. Okay? But anyway, I saw this thing. It was like, she was saying like Europe is completely dependent on the sovereignty of Ukraine. Well, I think you'll be fine. If you want my opinion, I think you'll be fine. Europe. Russia's gonna go Ukraine, and then Europe. Western Europe. Is Ukraine considered a part of Asia or Europe? I don't know. Geography was my worst subject. In the sense that I have to work extra hard at it. Anyway. Oh, Ukraine. That was the other thing. Okay, it was China and Ukraine. I guess that's what it was. I see Republicans and Democrats be like on the defense, puffing up their feathers with China. And then I've seen also Republicans and Democrats be like puffing up their feathers for the sovereignty of Ukraine. You know, if I was the president of Russia or whatever, I'd be like, well, I don't want to pay for you. So that's fine. If it were me, so that's not in my budget. Okay, that would really mess up my financial reports. So you won't be fine, Ukraine. Yeah, it was Ukraine and China. That was what it was. Which I thought was interesting. At least the agreement, a lot of consensus, which is not a consensus with me, but you know, that aside. A bit of consensus with the Republicans and Democrats with the foreign affairs, foreign policy. I hate to say policy because, like, and I hate to say affairs just because of the word. Dealings? I don't know. Do y'all have a better word than policy? I feel policy is a bit short of what's going on. I feel affairs is probably more appropriate than policy, but I don't like the word affairs. Who wants an affair? Anyway, let's go to this affair. I'd rather go to a county fair. Anyway, don't mind me. Oh, if you're wondering why I'm in a good mood, it's because of the weather. I don't know if you noticed this jacket. I haven't put on my ring yet today, but don't worry, I will. I'm gonna paint my nails, I think, with red dots. Anyway, maybe red dots on one hand and blue dots on the other. I don't know. Anyway, the weather is really fantastic. This morning I took Banjo out. It said it was 45 degrees. I don't know if it was 45 degrees. I think it might have been a little bit warmer, but it was nice. I had my jacket. It feels great out here. It's fall. This weather feels fantastic. I'm not doing this video, and then by the end of the video I'm just like sweating. Which is completely normal, by the way, in case you didn't know. I mean, you might say sweating might be an indicator for this and this and this, and I'm not here to say you're wrong. But what I am here to say is, you know, when you're in a hot place, they tell athletes, they say if you have a competition somewhere, you need to go to that place where you have that competition and practice for 2 weeks. So your sweat system can get acclimated. When you're in a hot place, you don't want your internal body temperature to be really, really hot. Therefore, you sweat, right? And, you know, when you're in a cold place, you don't, you know, you don't sweat. Anyway. Yeah, the weather's fantastic here in San Antonio. I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm just here to tell you I am in a better mood because it is a fall. It feels like fall. I think the highest it's supposed to get today is the low 70s, which here in San Antonio, Texas is very pleasant. Oh, there's the Melissa hurricane, category 5. But then it got down to, I think, category 2 now. But the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, I think he tweeted that there was assistance for them over there, which I think is nice. You say, how dare they? The government is shut down. How dare they? I don't know, maybe you don't say that. But you know me, I'm always looking for, like, adversary, I guess. For whatever reason. Anyway, Yeah, as far as the government being shut down, I hear about the food stamps and oh, the flight air traffic controllers. Very stressful job. So obviously that's not good, but apparently it's one of the longest shutdowns. I think the previous longest shutdown was in the 45th administration. You want to know who I learned that from? I was watching CNN today. Guess who was on it? Department of Defense Alyssa from The View. She said, oh, she couldn't get a job after the 45th administration. Now she's on The View and CNN. And I was wondering, Department of Defense Alyssa worked for Department of Defense and then got promoted to Vice President Mike Pence's secretary. Congratulations on your promotion. And then subsequent inability to get hired. I'm glad that's all over for you, Department of Defense Alyssa. What good are you anyway? Is basically what I'm saying. Oops, did I say that out loud? I'm just kidding. She kind of triggers me. And I saw her on CNN today. I was like, and if, in case you're wondering, by the way, my mom watches The View now. She watches it in this house, in the living room TV. Just so happens to coincide with my schedule when I leave my room, get lunch or whatever. Laundry. Oh, you're watching The View on TV. That's new. Anyway. Yeah, the weather feels great out here. Carved the pumpkin yesterday. I tried to do the sucrose molecule, but it's kind of hard to do a carve on a pumpkin. I said, okay, so this OH is that way. This OH is this way. How am I going to artistically carve that on a pumpkin? And I couldn't. So then I just did the carbon, which is also attached to an OH, as a sun and star. So this is too hard. All I had to do was, what is it, a hexagon and a pentagon joined together hand in hand with a oxygen molecule going this way. And I couldn't do it. But it is what it is. I just slapped on some gold glitter and then it turned out fine. So that's passable. Pass, fail, pass. Anyway. Yeah, Asian trip over. Glad 47 on the way back to Washington, D.C. Government shutdown is the longest, and the previous longest was in the 45th administration. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't remember anything about it, so I wasn't affected. But obviously, the food stamps is a welfare program. I don't know, but I just think it's interesting considering all of these programs that are not a federal government. There's meals. I don't know. Is Meals on Wheels federally funded? There's Head Start program, which I think is school lunches, public school lunches. It said over by Friday, I think over 100 plus Head Start programs will be affected. And I thought that it was interesting. I was like, really, only 100? It's a federal. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a federally funded lunch provider program for, I think, public schools, but I could be wrong. I don't know, you would just expect that number to be a lot bigger. I guess considering the amount of schools. But anyway. Yeah, obviously that's not good. Helping the less fortunate is always nice, and um, should be a priority. I think we should talk about this living situation. I hear a lot of people that can't afford a home and all that. You're a renter, right? That's money that you're never gonna get back. You rent an apartment or whatever. But as far as food stamp goes, that is unfortunate. This shutdown, I think, is quite interesting. This uh, seems to be kind of a stalemate, and a lot of the times I hear it's the American people that suffers. So you say that all the time. A broke clock is right twice a day, huh? But anyway, um, yeah, obviously food stamps are important. I think when kind of you're in that situation, it's very easy for things to spiral and your needs not being met and stuff like that. And to have the security of a food stamp and all that, I think would be very nice. And yeah. Okay, well, what else? I'm gonna take a sip of coffee and see if there's any other topics to discuss. One second. And one more thing, I guess now that we're talking about the government shutdown, specifically in terms of, I think it was food stamps, paying the military, and the TSA airport flight controller, what do they call it? I forget the name right now. I think it's interesting. A lot of these, I heard that. Amazon is going to lay off 30,000 workers or something. And I think to myself, like, that's a lot of, what do you call it? Blue collar work, right? People get upset at Amazon for 30,000 employee layoff, and then, but you never really hear that about Elon Musk. Is that because that people just assume it's white collar work? I don't know. I'm just wondering where Mom Donnie is, because I think the race for mayor in New York, it might be this week or next week or something like that. Probably next week, maybe. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of good things about Mom Donnie. So, anyway. Yeah, the HEB here in Texas. I think it's a Texas, what do you call it? Grocery store. A lot of the stuff you can get really cheap. I use Suave. It's so HEB, it holds a lot of different brands, but they also have their own brand, which is sometimes cheaper than other people's different brands, just because, like, I don't know, transport. I don't know. Um, but I use the Suave shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. The body wash is like $4, but I get the big kind, and the shampoo and conditioner is like $2. You know what is expensive though? Is like the fruit and stuff, right? I said, ooh, I get this pasta, which can have a lot of portions. You can get for really cheap. The pasta sauce you can get for cheap. $2 there, But what is expensive? I get strawberries, $5. What? And then there's cents, there's $6, and then there's tax. Why do the strawberries cost more than my shampoo and conditioner combined? But they do. Again, I don't say that's like an evil. I'm just saying. Anyway, yeah. So I guess that's that. I had something else I want to say, but I forget it right now. Anyway, in end of October, Halloween, beginning of November, All Souls Day and All Saints Day. I can choose to observe that, right? Warriors Creek is so busy right now. 8:06 a.m. A lot of people have jobs over there. It makes total sense. But anyway, yeah, I guess that's it. I might make a video tomorrow, considering how far I get with this Title 18 United States Code, Crimes and Criminal Procedure. Come on over here, little bird. Be my friend. Anyway, yeah, so happy Thursday. I hope you have a good one. If you're not somebody who's driving past, you know, I've said this many times before, so I hope that's your regular schedule. I've seen a lot of irregular schedules, personally, in this neighborhood, but you know, it is what it is. So anyway, happy Thursday. Feels really great out today. I think it's supposed to be this weather throughout the weekend here in San Antonio, Texas. Oh, this is what I want to say. If you're wondering, I haven't voted. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't like the mayor. I don't think a lot of people do. I had to go to a runoff. Again, voter participation here in San Antonio for a lot of those things when it's not a presidential election year is quite low. To be honest, I don't blame them. Same. Here in the San Antonio elections, it's which is early voting is right now. It was last week and then this week. My mom and Tracy said they voted. I said, you didn't even bring the sample ballot? They said no, they forgot. They always bring me a sample ballot, whether I ask for it or not. I asked for them to bring a sample ballot. The one time I asked them to bring me a sample ballot is the one time they forgot to do so. But anyway, I was gonna vote no on all the stuff, but then there's one thing about redoing the water systems, and I said, well, maybe I might vote in favor, but then I thought, no, just because of the price tag. I've seen, here in the San Antonio, Texas elections, it's the local elections, it's $1 billion price tag for stuff. Why is everything costing $1 billion? No. When it was the freeze, we had a CPS problem. Our water worked. The freeze of 2021, February. So anyway, I don't think I'm gonna vote, and I don't really feel bad about it. I actually feel bad when I do vote, because every time it's like not what I voted for. So, less depressing just to not vote. But yeah, I would have been open to this water restructuring, but then I saw the price tag, it being $1 billion, and I was just like, nah, that's suspicious. Why is it $1 billion? But apparently, my mom said on the sample ballot here in San Antonio that there was several propositions that had a paragraph, but there was a lot of them. There's 17, and a lot of them it was just like one sentence explanation of what it is, which I think is not average. Usually, there's quite a bit of an explanation on the ballot for propositions and stuff. But anyway, If you voted, good for you. I just get depressed about it because usually what ends up happening is the exact opposite of what I voted for. I'm always in the minority, so it seems. Anyway, yeah, I guess that's it. Y'all have a good one. Happy Thursday. May make a video tomorrow, may not. We'll see how far I get in my research. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Happy Halloween.